Well, welcome. I'm excited to invite you to the RexDog Trading System. This is an overview video, and since you're here, let's jump right in. In this video, I'll provide an overview of the key philosophy of the RexDog Trading System. I'll also be calling it the RexDog Trading Method. Sometimes I use that interchangeably, but I'll try to use just the system. We'll talk about the key components of the system, how it will be released. It's actually starting this week. It's already kind of started. I've shared a lot of that with existing members. How it integrates within the existing training, we'll cover that. How to get started. And at the end, I'll cover some questions you might have. So let's just jump right in. First up, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. I highly suggest that you pause the video and you read this. It's a disclaimer for everything that follows. So let's get rolling. Let's talk about the RexDog Trading System. And I'm going to cover it in detail. I'll share with you pretty much at a high level what it is, and then we'll kind of get more into details as we move forward. At a high level, the RexDog Trading System is a simple rules and probability-based trading system. It's a system you will use as a foundation to adopt or create your own trading system that you will trade with conviction. The system for most people will be the 90% of a foundation, and I'll get more into detail about this. But basically, I'm designing this, I'm creating this in such a way that it's 90% of what the foundational system you'll be trading because it's how the market works. The rest 10% is designed for you to take ownership and make the system your own based on your own style, psychology, mindset, and time schedule, time frame, all of that. Maybe your own indicators. That's critical because I've mentioned this before. You cannot trade someone else's system with conviction. You can only trade a system that you believe in within your heart, your mind, your soul, everything, your being, with conviction if you have ownership with it, or of it, I should say. And the only way you have ownership of a system is that you know it intimately. So you can get 90% there, but you better make that 10%, and then that's where you make it your own. And I gave this example before in a previous video, but my existing training is extensive. It gives you an awesome foundation. It covers the market in many different aspects. It's extremely valuable. I would say that if you're a new trader or even an intermediate trader, it's training that will shave hours, not hours, days, weeks, months off you trying to figure out how the market works, key things with the market, keys, philosophies around the market. But it's foundational, it's very detailed. But the difference is that I didn't think before that I could provide a system. I thought I had to give you a car. Like, here's the way I explained it before, which is you wanted a car. And I gave you a car, but I gave you a car in pieces. And I gave you directions on how to put that car together, but you really needed a car to drive right away. And you working multiple jobs maybe, and you just didn't have time to put together the car, right? So you needed a car. The RexDog Trading System is a car. It is a car. And I'm giving you a car, and I'm teaching you how to drive that car to the extreme. Now, it's up to you that you need to get the experience, the feel, the intuition, so that you drive that car with conviction. The way I would liken it is that I'm giving you a car, I'm teaching you how to drive 150 to 200 miles an hour. My expectation from you is that you're going to be driving 230, 260, 300 as quick as possible. So you're going to take that car and you're going to say, hey, that's cool. Thanks for teaching me how to drive 200. But look, I can go 250. And look, I can go 260. I can go 270. That's my expectation from you. So let's talk about what markets. Let's get into the specifics here. The RexDog Trading System works across all markets. What do I trade the system with? And I'll get into the details of how I got here. But futures, I trade NASDAQ, I trade ES, I trade Russell, I trade oil, and I trade gold. I trade crypto, futures, spot, and margin. I trade equities, typically swing trades, but also I do trade day trade in equities from time to time when I see an opportunity. And then Forex. Forex is a long-term momentum. One thing I will say, when you enter the RexDog trading system, we have banned the word trend. We no longer use the word trend. We use the word momentum. You'll learn specifically why that's important and why you do not want to think in trends. So we will talk about that. Now, before I move on and talk about the basic philosophy, how I got here is for the last couple years, I've been trading this system, but it was disjointed between multiple markets, and it was disjointed way too much. And about a couple months before I stepped away, I basically went through my system and I said I was frustrated because I was trading multiple markets. I was kind of trading the same system, and I saw similarities of how the markets worked. But there was enough nuance in the systems that I was not quite having easy decisions to make. So in the futures market, I was using, and this is part of the system, there is nuances still in the RexDog trading system. So for instance, in futures, same underlying logic, probability, but we're actually using tick charts. What I basically did, just to cut to the chase, I pruned everything down. I threw out everything that did not come down to a probability-based decision, that did not have a high probability of a trade entry or a trade exit. And I distilled it down. I'm saying trading this one system across all markets with a 5 to 10% nuance. That's all. If there's more than a 5 to 10% nuance, it's not going into the system. So let's jump right in. Let's talk about the basic philosophy of the RexDog trading system. The basic philosophy is everything in the system is designed so that you look at a chart, any chart, in any market, on any time frame, and you can answer a simple question by using probability. Where is price going? I'm going to be saying this so much that it needs to be something that you're always thinking about. Where is price going? Where is the target? Where is price going? Where is the target? On every time you look at a chart, you're reading a chart, that's the only thing you care about. Now next, when you're there, the next thing you want to be thinking is, on my time frame, should I have a long or short bias? Now, the other day I released the RexDog trading, or the RexDog average. That's what I use as a bias. It's publicly available. So that is what I use for my long or short bias on whatever time frame I'm trading, and even higher time frames. Now, once you have a long or short bias, the next thing is, what do I do? Well, it's pretty simple. Based on the system and the rules, probability, where are the best trade entries? So you're looking at a chart real quick, should be 10 to 30 seconds. Where is price going? Where's a probability where price is going based on what I see? And then what's my bias, long or short? Where's the best trade entries? Now that defined, quite simply, if an entry exists now, you enter. Look, it's your system. Your system's telling you to enter. If not, you wait, or you place limit orders. I said this before, as a trader, you are a professional waiter. You basically wait around. That's what you're doing. You're waiting for the right time to strike. When you strike, you strike. And that moves us on to the next component, which is, once in a trade, you're a manager. You manage that trade with the same rules. You're taking profits at high probability stall points, and you're reading the chart. And something you're going to learn, and is going to be very familiar to you in the RexDog trading method, is at all times you're doing something what I call as reading the story of the chart. At all times, that's what you're doing. You're reading the story of the chart as it's unfolding. Now, obviously, if the market's closed, that story is kind of closed for that limited time. There's still a story there. But as the market's open, as you're trading, you are consistently reading the story of the chart. And the story of the chart, based on probability, key things, will tell you whether or not price is going to the target that you outlined, or if your bias needs to change, or if your bias needs to remain the same. It's really that simple. It doesn't get any more difficult than that. This is how you need to trade. Any time frame. daily, weekly, hour, 5 minute, 1 minute, 15 minute, whatever time frame. Doesn't matter. So let's jump into the specifics and technicals. So the RexDog trading system is price action and chart driven with light use of indicators. I say price action, and I say that cautiously because that means different things to a lot of people. I've gone through, I don't know how many price action courses, many price action courses. I can only think about 10% of them that actually were, I would say, good. And I say that because it's not because they're not great traders. The people that put them together were great traders. I could tell they had edges. It's just the problem with a lot of price action, people that talk about price action and that teach it, is that they're all over the map. Like, it's obvious they have an edge, but they don't provide very specific rules, very specific examples. And when they do, there's just a one or two examples here, and then they kind of move on to something else, and they do something else, and then they're talking about this, and then they take a trade that goes against their rules, and then it's just, it's messy. And I know why that is because their edge has a part of art to it. And as you get to become a better trader, you will trade like that, because I trade like that. I quote unquote ignore my rules, but that's because my experience with the market. So I'll take a trade. It'll be a smaller size, but it's a trade that would maybe break the rule, but I see it as a quick trade opportunity, for instance. But that's not what you're getting with the RexDog trading system. You're getting very specific rules. That's part of the 10% that you build yourself, that as you get experience, as you gain your edge, you'll start doing that. I'm not going to teach you to do that because that's not the right way to teach you how to trade a highly effective system. And the bottom line, the RexDog trading system is designed to look at a chart quickly and know what action should or shouldn't be taken. It's real simple. I could sell futures on the blades of grass in my backyard. And as long as the blades of grass in my backyard has momentum and volatility, you can use the RexDog trading system to trade it. Anything that has momentum and volatility you can use. So if I did sell futures, you could be buying futures on the blades of grass in my backyard. And you could look at a chart quickly and know whether or not you should take a trade, you shouldn't take a trade, you should wait, whether or not there's an opportunity today or not. It's that simple. And that's because not only in the RexDog trading system, I believe in all trading, except for maybe options, there's two trade types. There is a momentum trade and there is a fade trade. And that's based on your bias. So obviously, if you have a long bias, then the momentum trade is on the long side. And if you're going short when the momentum is on the long side, then you're fading that trade. You're fading that bias. There's only two trades. Except for maybe options. Of course, in options, there's different trade types. But pretty much all through trading, I should be able to call you up in the middle of the night and say, are you in a trade? Is it a momentum or fade? And you should be able to tell me everything about that trade. Why you're in a momentum fade. Now, yes, of course, on one time frame, there might be a momentum to the upside, but then you're fading it on a lower time frame. And you might be, so of course, on different time frames, momentum and fade means different things. But on your time frame that you're trading, you'll know clearly whether or not you're in a momentum or fade. And maybe on the higher time frame, there's a long momentum, but then you're fading it on a lower time frame. So yes, but there's only two trade types that you're ever concerned about, you're ever doing, and you always know what trade type you're in. On top of that, there's only 3 trade entries or exit triggers. Now these might be combined, but these 3 trade entries, let's just talk about trade entries. There's candle, there's bias, and there's levels. Now, of course, all of these have sub-entry and exit triggers, but all are concise and clear. And the way to look at this is there's 2 trade types, momentum and fade, and then there's 3 trade entry triggers. Now, some of these might align, you might have multiple triggers aligning, and that makes it a higher probability trade. So if you have a candle and bias trigger aligning, then that's a higher probability trade. And same on the exit. When I say exit, basically you're in a trade and you're looking at the same rules. You're looking at these same triggers. So you're taking profit at key stall points where the candle, the candle rules tell you that it's a key stall point. A bias rule might tell you it's a key stall point, or a level rule might tell you it's a key stall point. You're taking profits and entries, same system. You're just reversing it if you're in a trade where you're taking profits. Now the technicals. Now, so far you're probably saying that's pretty simple, and hopefully you are saying that that's simple, because that's what this is designed to be. The less you have to think when you're actively trading, the more highly successful trader you will be. And let's go over the technicals of what makes up the RexDog Trading System. So the first technical aspect of it is a bias benchmark. Now, I released the RexDog average a couple days ago. It's public. That's what I use as a bias benchmark on all my time frames and how I trade. So that tells me what bias I should have in the market and how I should trade it. I use that as the bias benchmark. It's the first thing I look at on a chart. On top of that, you'll be provided 2 moving averages. I'll also provide you, if you don't want to use the moving averages that I suggest, which are highly effective, I don't know why you wouldn't use them, but if you don't want to use them, I'll tell you how you can analyze the market and choose your own. But I would highly suggest you use the 2 moving averages, because they are what the market, it's not what the market uses. We'll get into the specifics here, but basically you'll be getting 2 moving averages, 3 momentum EMAs, and then finally we use VWAP and anchor VWAP. Now, this is the technicals, and this is not a simple just moving average EMA crossover strategy. It's much more detailed than that, but let me share why I whittled everything down to this, and we'll get into the details here in a second. But basically, when you're looking at a chart, the things that I mentioned here are the things that you're going to look at in a specific order, and you're going to make assessments based on where things are at, what things are doing, and these are your benchmarks. See, as humans, what we need is to make a decision in trading is we need the same benchmarks when we look at something, so that we can analyze it and make an assessment of, we're looking for patterns, right? And when you use the same thing over and over in the same order, and specifically around probabilities and how you're going to learn in the RexDog Trading System, when you use these same things on multiple time frames and multiple markets, the patterns will be very clear after a little while you're doing this. You'll be able to look at a chart quickly, see the patterns, know your bias, know whether or not you need to be in momentum or fade, and you'll be able to see the high probability entry triggers, both long and short. So that's why these are chosen for a very specific math and probability reason. They're chosen because, and let's get into this. Before I get into that, let me not steal the thunder from what follows. Let's talk about the optional technicals. So I don't mean to kind of be disjointed here, but let's talk about the optional technicals. There is other indicators that that you can use, and you might even use your own indicators. It's designed that way. I'll provide an RSI EMA indicator. You'll see that on my chart. There's these little triangles on my chart, so you'll get that indicator. Multi-time frame TSI, if you're a member, you already have access to that. That's a indicator that I use, especially on a higher time frame. It's highly reliable on bias. Provide the momentum 1 hour lines. These are just additional things that help you trade better. So that I'll be releasing. And then you can use your own indicators. But the core of the system is what I've just shared here. The core of the system of the philosophy we just covered, the trade types, the trade entries, simple trade types, simple trade entries, simple indicators that you're using as benchmarks. And then you can add these as optional indicators that will help your probability or fit the way that you trade. Now let's talk about time frame. Well, you pick your own time frame. But in the RexDog Trading System, you're going to pick your own time frame, but you're going to do it in a very specific way, and you're going to have very specific components that you need to have. And I'll give you an example of this, but first, you're going to have a higher control. You're going to have a structure time frame. You're going to have a gold time frame, and you're going to have a lower algo confirmation. Okay? So any time frame that you pick, whatever time frame you trade, the system works in across any market, and you're going to have this. So let me give an example of a 5-minute trading time frame. So I trade the 5-minute across many different markets. That's kind of my core trading time frame that I use. Of course, I use tick charts and stuff like that, but on an example 5-minute trading time frame, your higher control is the daily. Pretty much many of your trading time frames, the daily will be the higher control. Your structure time frame is the 30-minute. This is the structure of the market. This gives you a structure view of the market. It's where you make structured decisions. All this will be clear once you go through the system. Your gold time frame is the 1 hour, especially when you're trading the 5-minute. And then your lower algo confirmation is the 1 minute. And the 1 minute, while I don't suggest many people trade that, when you're trading the 5-minute time frame, you can look at the 1 minute for confirmation of maybe being early on a highly probability move, because the lower algo confirmation will start to switch over and give you some clues of where it wants to go. And I know some people might be saying, because maybe you've seen other methods or other trading styles out there, you might be saying, is that all? I mean, it seems pretty simple. I mean, you just got a couple moving averages, you got a bias indicator, you got 2 trade types, just a few trade entries. You didn't mention chart patterns, you didn't mention this other stuff. Look, this trading method works not because some secret. It works because you're using simple relationships between key data points that the market is providing. I can't stress this enough. Basically, you're reverse engineering. Basically, you're reverse engineering the data the market is providing, and you take that data and you form a story of the chart that reveals the highest probability trades based on that information. That's what this system, and that's what I really realized when I sat down and said, why does this system work across multiple markets? Are all traders looking at these same things? And it's not. What it's doing is it literally is reverse engineering the momentum of the market. And then it's when you look at these key things in the same way every time, and then you have rules around it, and then you have high probability entries based on what the market does, you're basically just you're taking the information and you're distilling it in a way that you can see the patterns, and then that you can actually trade it that isn't confusing. And it really comes down to the one question. It comes down to the whole system is designed around where is it going. And think about this. If you have a high conviction and probability that you know where price is going, then trading is simple. Since I came back, Bitcoin just did, I don't know when you're watching this video, but Bitcoin did a pretty massive drop. And all of crypto did. And since I've been back, I've been short Bitcoin. And it's not because I like to short. It's because my bias indicator for at least the last couple of weeks have been saying that I need to have a short bias. So sell every pop, every high I need to sell. And there's going to come a time in the future, and as we were approaching the 200 MA, the system was giving me more and more indicators that every major entry trigger, high probability entry trigger, I need to add to my shorts. Every entry trigger I need to add to my shorts. I didn't expect the sell-off that happened as deep as it was, but everything in the RexDog trading system was saying be short in Bitcoin, be short in crypto, and that's the move. That's the high probability move. So I was shorting, like I said, pretty much because I didn't know I had a high probability based on the system where price was going. So I was trading with conviction at size, shorting. So I did pretty well on the drop. I didn't mention much of that, but I did pretty well, because if you've been following me on Discord, you know that's pretty much what I've been talking about. I went long; those were fade trades. All my longs were fade trades, but I was short. It's because my system, the RexDog trading system, gave me a high conviction rate of where price was going. Because when you know where it's going, all you need to know is where are the best entries. And that's, so once I said, hey, I have a high conviction price is going here, my best entries are every high. Every high that gets broached, I'm shorting. That's my best entries. So, and it came down to what I was constantly doing every day and sharing is I was reading the story of the chart. I wasn't arguing with the chart. I was reading the story of the chart, and that's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn the story of the chart. You're going to learn how to read the story of the chart. And you're going to learn that the second that the story of the chart changes, meaning it's not going to that destination. So let's say you were short with me in Bitcoin. Well, the second that the story of the chart had something happen that said, hey, I should pay attention, the story has maybe changed, is the second where possibly your bias, your trade type, your entry type might change. It's that simple. And you're going to learn how to do that. This is where, as a trader, you need to be able to be fluid in your mind and change your mind constantly. But it comes down to the story of the chart. And it comes down to simplicity and probabilities. The more complex you make it, the harder it's going to be for you to change your mind when the story of the chart changes. The easier you make it, the more it will be based around simplicity and probabilities. And I will say in the training, you'll get mindset and how to think and interpret the market. But the key is you have a system where you make as little high-level decisions as possible. The less decisions you have to make when trading, the more effective you will be as a trader. I've said this, and I did share a pre-market mindset worksheet that you should read. You should have a pre-market routine that you go through, and that should be the same. And it should be, your pre-market routine should be centered around the high-level decisions, bias decisions that you need to have in your mind as you sit down to trade. Because when you trade, you want to make as little high-level decisions as possible. You want to execute your system, and focus on doing good trades. As I kind of move on here, we talk about the release schedule. That is the system. I could probably go on for another 3 or 4 hours because I love this stuff. I'm proud of the system. I love trading. I love teaching it. I really do. I do enjoy teaching it. But I would be rehashing the same stuff because it doesn't get any more complex than this. It's just more details around these things. So I could probably go on for another 2 or 3 hours, but we're not going to do that. But I'm just sharing it doesn't get any more complex than that. And you don't need anything more complex than that. So let's talk about the release schedule. So the first release are what I'm going to call blow your mind videos. And these are 1 or 2 videos of the RexDog method, concepts, and philosophy you can put into action right away. These videos, and I've already shared some of it with the existing members already, but these videos will have, number 1, I'll give an overview of the overall system and the philosophy and the key things you need to look at. I'll share with you the key components and how you put those key components on your chart. Real simple. And then it's going to be example after example, multiple time frames, multiple markets of the philosophy that is irrefutable around whether or not this is the right method for you to adopt in your trading. Beyond a doubt, these 2 videos, like I said, they're blow your mind videos, because I'm going to do it I've already half recorded one of them. It's done in such a way where basically here's the concept, here's eye level concept, here's how you execute it no matter which way you're trading right now. And we're going to get to all the details so that you start trading right. But you can put this into action right away no matter what level you're at trading. But then let's go on and let me show you example after example, multiple time frames, daily, 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, weekly, monthly. Let me show you why this is so effective. And let me show you tick charts. Let me show you Forex. Let me show you futures. Let me show you equities. Let me show you crypto. And like I said, blow your mind videos. And the reason why is because I know a lot of people are trading now. A lot of people have experience. And I want to get the core concept out there quickly to people in the training so that they can start implementing it and start getting in the and moving in the right direction. If you're brand new, this will work as well because it'll start you off on the right foot. And then as I release the training, which we'll talk about that, let's talk about the structure of the training. The structure of the training, as I kind of move forward with the training, the videos are going to be 10 to 20 minutes long. I don't want to be doing these 30-minute to hour-minute videos. And they're going to be broken up into a concept video, an explanation video, example videos, and nuances. So it's basically, here's a concept, here's a trade entry, here's an explanation of this trade entry, and it might be combined in the same video, depends on how long it is. And then here is multiple examples across multiple markets of this trade entry. And then there's the nuances. So for instance, there's always a nuance because in one market, for instance, the futures market, this trade entry might be a little bit more effective done this way, but the nuance is less than 5%. And it's very simple. It's not like there's not a big difference between the nuance, but there are nuances, and some of them there isn't. Some of them that rule holds no matter what market it is. I also will listen to you and create more detailed videos where needed. So look, I'm in Discord every day, and if people say, hey, those were great videos on this concept, but we kind of need more in this, I'll do more. So this isn't just something where I'm just shouting from the rooftops and saying, hey, this is it, this is the law. No, there's a back and forth here. I'm listening to you, creating what you also need as well so that you'll become a highly effective elite trader. That's really the goal. Now you might be asking, maybe you're in the existing trading. Is it still valuable? Yes, it is still valuable. In fact, I would suggest everybody goes through it because if you've gone through the training, my existing training, a lot of this will be very familiar to you. But it'll be because before I wasn't providing a trading system. This is very concise, very detailed, very focused. So a lot of it will be a rehash, but if you haven't gone through the training, you're just joining, I would suggest you go through the training because it provides you so much of a foundational understanding of everything that's in the system that you'll understand why some of these things are happening, that you understand why some of these things have a high probability. So for instance, value channels, measured moves, inflection points, impulses. I'll be using that phraseology all through the new training. And I won't be explaining much of it because it's in the existing training. So if you know this stuff already, you're there. If you don't know this stuff, you'll still get, I'd say you get about 80% of the value if you didn't go through my training. So I do know there's people that probably will just join and just do the RexDog Trading System and not even go through my existing training. And I'm very mindful of that. And I will be creating the trading with not the expectation, with knowing that I don't want to say what's the nice way to say this? With knowing that people are not going to necessarily go through the foundational training and just take the trading system and run. So I'm designing it in such a way that will not be required. I don't want to require you to do that. I would highly suggest it, but I also know people are people. You have limited time and you have limited attention. So I would be doing it in such a way you can take the system and pick up and go. You'll get so much more of it if you go through my existing training, though. I just will mention that. The thing about this is there's more detailed explanation of the fundamentals that make up the RexDog trading method in the training. So, like for instance, if I talk about an impulse, I'm not going to explain the impulse in the RexDog Trading System. It'll be pretty clear what it is, but if you really want a detailed explanation, you'll go to the existing training. All right. Here's a list of the outline videos I have. Some of them are in various stages. This is just a list. It's probably 30 plus concise videos with examples, many examples in different markets. I anticipate we'll probably have another 20 or 30 on top of this. But this is where I've got all these outlined, all these ready to go. This is the core of the system. So I'm not going to read this, but just to give you an example, this is where I'm at right now. And I'm going to go at a breakneck speed. So I'm going to limit some of my trading, and this is going to be my focus the next couple weeks. I've committed to that. So let's talk about my commitment to you. This is something I want to make a commitment to you. First up, my commitment to you is clear and concise training. So some of my training in the past, I think, was a little bit longer than it needed to be. So my commitment is just like when I say you look at a chart, where is price going? Every time I sit down and do a video, I'm going to look at it and say, is it clear and concise? And if it isn't, I'm going to whittle it down until it's clear and concise. That's my commitment. A system that you can put into action ASAP. So the RexDog Trading System is not a system that you're going to have to wait around for. Of course, as I release the training, that's why my goal is the first 1 or 2 videos is the blow your mind, not holding anything back, sharing everything about the system in these 1 or 2 videos at a high level, so that the people that have experience and that are kind of ready to go, even if you're new, you can take it and start running with it. If you're new, you can take it and start running with it and training at small size and start getting experience, like small inconsequential size, and get experience. Another commitment to you is I strive to be a better trainer than I am a trader. And that's a pretty tall order because I'm an elite trader. I'm at the top tier. And when I say a better trainer, I guess that there's that phrase, what, shoot for the stars, you land on the moon, or whatever it is. That's my goal with this. I want to be, if I decided to do this, I decided to release the RexDog Trading System, and there's no reason to half-ass do it. And my goal is to be a better trainer than I am a trader. So I've gone, and part of this comes from all the training that I've gone through personally, and the frustrations I've had as a person trying to get an edge, gain something that I could put into action ASAP, and also understanding that person is a trader, they're not a trainer first. I've done a lot of focus and effort on ensuring that everything I do, I become better and better at as a trainer, the same way that I do as a trader. So that's a commitment to you. Also, no BS fluff or trying to explain what happens where there is no way anybody could know. I hate this. This is something I rarely use the word hate, but ban the word why from your vocabulary. You'll never know. So why did something drop? Why did something rise? There might be news. There might be an inflection point. There might be some kind of... You'll never know because there's no way for you to know for sure. So and same with explaining the market. I do have ways that I explain what happened in the market, but I have no idea if it's true. Like the smart money and the hedge funds, like you might say, look, there's a liquidity pool down here, and that's why it came down here and then it rejected. Look, I'm not going to have it. None of that's in the RexDog Trading System because you don't care about that. It doesn't matter. You don't need that to make money in trading. In fact, it's just a waste of time. It's a waste of brain cells because you don't know if that's true. You don't know if that's happening. You'll never know. You'll never get an answer. And really, you just need to trade off the story of the chart. You don't need to know why. And you don't need to know all these BS, like I'm trying to sound smart why this is happening because I have the inside track of so-and-so. Some of my old trading, I did discuss that. And as I look back at it, I look at it and say, you know what? Of course, I know people in the industry and I talk to people, but did I really know if that's the truth? I have no idea. I really don't. I have no idea if that's the reason why it does this. But what I came to realize is that it doesn't matter. And it's not worth your effort or time. So that's not in the RexDog Trading System. And I'll discuss the various reasons why I think, hey, maybe this comes down here and then it rose because it hit all the stops. I don't know. That's just my way of interpreting the market. And you'll have your own way that you'll start interpreting the market. You might say it comes up here to this level on a high probability system. And because squirrels are going crazy in New York, it drops. So every time it comes up to this level, the squirrels go crazy and it drops. That might be your way of explaining the system. I don't care. Do you need, and if that helps you trade, great. What I'm telling you is that's not going to be in the RexDog system. I'll also be completely upfront. And when I say that, I read something a while ago, a couple years ago, many years ago, said you don't use the word to be completely honest. So you don't use honest because that implies that you're not honest. So I always use the word upfront. And that's what I'll be blunt and upfront with you. This isn't a trading system that you're going to take and you're not going to have very upfront rules and an upfront opinion of how things work. Because you can argue with me and of course, there's professional deniers. In fact, there is a professional skeptic society. I listened to a radio interview once of a guy that runs the Professional Skeptic Society. He's a skeptic of everything. So there will be skeptics here. And I will not be able to convince that Professional Skeptic Society people. So if you are that, I won't be able to convince you. But if you do argue with me, I will be able to bombard you with so many real world live and historical examples that if you are still a skeptic, then you want to be a professional skeptic. There will be a vast amount of information that will come your way if you want to be a skeptic. So I'll just be completely upfront. That's the system, and I'm holding nothing back. So some of you that are in the members group already know that I'm just kind of sharing stuff that I probably didn't share before. Well, I'm holding nothing back going forward. So when you join the RexDog Trading System, you're getting my existing training, you're getting the system, and you're getting pretty much everything that I'm not holding anything back, I should say. That's the best way to put it. So let's talk about how to get started. It's really much, you're probably wondering, is this free? No, I don't believe in free. I think you have to make a commitment, but it'll be really affordable. It'll be well below the value of what it should be. It's $9.97 USD. One price. And for those that are wondering, I'll answer this question. I'll probably answer it at the end too. If you're an existing member, the agreement I made with everybody that joined before, anything I do in trading publicly that I release is yours. Indicators, trading, and it's one time. So you pay your membership fee to get in, anything I release. So the RexDog Trading System you're getting. For those that are new, you get everything as well. So, and it's payable in BTC or ETH. And look, I will take fiat, even though the Fed, through modern monetary theory and Jerome Powell, are trying to destroy the best economic system ever created this world has ever seen. And every other central bank in the world is trying to destroy the world. I know this is a little commentary and political, but even though even though all these central banks are trying to destroy the economic engine of this world, I will take fiat. So that being said, my heart is still with crypto, even though, who knows where it's going. But BTC, ETH, I would prefer. But fiat, if you prefer to pay in US dollars, fiat, I'm more than willing to accept that. How to get started? It's real simple. DM me on Discord, so you see a link down below to join Discord, or email me at this email here. And let me share, this is you're probably saying this is very informal. And for those that don't know, my background is, I have a pretty vast background. I've been in real estate. I've been in digital marketing. I'm a software developer. I've been a consultant. I consulted and had technical teams at US Bank, Wells Fargo, United Health Group. So I kind of got a pretty technical, vast background. If I wanted to, because I have a digital marketing background, I could have a super slick site. I could have marketing funnels. I could be retargeting you everywhere across the web. I could have my buy button change based on what browser and what country and what time of day it is. I can do all these very kind of just digital marketing things that work and are highly effective. I can have these super funnels. But that's not why this is informal, why it's not like that, is because, number one, I don't want this to be my main focus. I don't want to be shooting YouTube videos on a private jet in a car with other well-known traders and have these videos. That's not I'll never be that. I'm never going to get to that level. So this is informal because it's not that I don't take this seriously. This is extremely serious. And I should probably have mentioned this at the beginning. I take this very seriously. I mean, I'm lighthearted. It's named the RexDog Trading System. It's extremely serious. I'm not playing around. This is not, how do I describe this in a way that is very clear? I'm not messing around. I mean, I am kind of laid back, and this is informal, but this is no joke. My intention here, this is what I want from you, okay? You need to take my system, and you better trade better than me. Everybody that goes through the RexDog Trading System, my expectation from you is you're going to take my system and you're going to teach me things that I didn't think was possible, and you're going to make me try to catch up to you. That's my expectation from you. I'm doing this training. I'm releasing this system. I'm releasing all this stuff. And my attitude going forward is that everybody that takes this and takes it seriously, you better exceed me as a trader. That's what I'm going to make you do. That's in my mindset and everything else. I'm pushing you to do that. That's my expectation. Otherwise, why do this? This isn't do this to just kind of trade half of what I'm doing. This is so you to exceed what I'm doing. And then for me to say, damn, I need to catch up to that person. So while it might seem that it's like, I don't have all these funnels and all this other stuff, I could do that. I could take 2 weeks right now, and you would be amazed at just what would be released and the level of quality it would be. But my main focus is trading. And now I've committed to being a better trainer than a trader. That doesn't mean that I have to have a super slick website. I have to have a super funnel and all that. No, I just need to focus on the people that actually step up, join the system, and ensure that they start executing it the right way. That's all. So let's move on to questions. So quick question. How did I get here? For those that are new, I traded trading a couple years ago, crypto, moved into Forex. Got pretty good at Forex trading, and then was trading equities the whole time, swing trading equities, and pretty much just made mistakes that all traders make, but learned pretty quickly, and then adopted my system. And then really, when I started trading futures, that's where things just kind of really started to coalesce. And I like futures just because obviously they're momentum, and there's volatility every day. So I already shared what I trade, but that's how I got here. That's a quick story. For those that I've been part of the group, you kind of know the story as well. So I've been trading for, I don't know how many years. I probably should look at it, but full-time trader for many years now. It's where my income comes from. It's where my wealth has come from. It's where I've set my family up. For those that have seen the past and future video, you kind of know the story. So I'm not going to rehash that. If you're already a member, is this part of the training? Absolutely. We already discussed this. So yes, of course, that's the agreement I've made. Will you be able to trade like me? No. So I can't trade like you. You can't trade like me. One thing that I still do today, I overtrade. I will admit to that. I overtrade even today. I trade more than I should. I execute positions more than I should. I think it's something to do with how I like to trade. It's part of being an always in trader. So if it's moving, I'm trading more than I should. My P&L doesn't, it is affected, but it's not affected greatly by that. I'm still positive every day, but I something that's on my sheet every day, even now, don't overtrade. Don't overtrade. And I say it constantly throughout the day. But then I see, it's going to impulse down. That's a good quick trade. I take it. And, I'm usually, I'd say 60, 70% right there. But then sometimes the 30%, it just rips up to the upside. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? That's why you don't overtrade. Because the best entry is up here where it's very clear the high probability entry is, and I should have just waited. But once again, what do? Sometimes I overtrade. Look, all traders, they're always working on something. No matter how good of a trader you are, you'll always be working on something. My goal is not to get you to trade like me. My goal is for me to provide you with a highly probable system that you can take and you can trade your own way and you can exceed me in trading. That's my goal. What if you're a complete beginner? Awesome. I wish I was you. I really do. Because if I was a complete beginner and had me, I would be, number one, I would be listening to me. But then number two, I would have such a head start of a trading system that I would make my own, that all the capital that I lost early on and all the time that I spent learning, I would be positioned in the right direction. So if you're a complete beginner, awesome. Not only do you have access to my existing training, but this new training will put you on the right. You have a foundational system that beyond a doubt you'll be able to take and execute and trade at a small size, because that's what I suggest as a small trade, as a beginning trader. You trade at inconsequential sizes so that you get experience with the market and you see that, yeah, these entries work, everything works. This is, now I can maybe start scaling up very slowly because you still have to make some mistakes as a complete beginner. No matter if I told you don't do this every day, you're still going to probably do it one day. It's just the way it is. So if you're a complete beginner, yes, the system works for you. Yes, this is a great place to start. Another question people might have is, what if I only want to trade long? Of course. In fact, in the market, I don't know what percentage, I probably should have looked this up before I recorded the video, but the market, because most people trade long, most people just buy, they don't think about shorting or they don't know how to short. The market always has a long bias. So whenever you're looking at the market, typically there's a long bias there just because that's what the majority of the people participating in the market can do. That's not quite the right way to look at it, but yes. So in the RexDog trading system, you would just always be looking at long bias trades, and then you would be doing momentum and fade trades. So maybe if it's selling off, but you see a good fade trade on the long side, well, you're going to take a high probability entry on a fade trade. And obviously, if it's momentum long, you're going to be buying at the key entry places based on when the momentum is pulling back to check in with the momentum. You're going to be buying at those key high entry points. So same if you only want to trade short. So if you only want to trade long or short, doesn't matter. You just adjust the system based on that trading style. Finally, what about options? I do trade options. I did share in the Discord group, my strategy in options. I trade options where there's always a fixed loss or a fixed gain. And I trade one specific option style. I do trade options here and there different, but look, here's with options. Like, I feel like I'm still a really novice in options. Like, I get it, I trade it, and I'm pretty successful at it, but I still don't feel like I have the multi-dimensional thinking around the Greeks that would make it so that I have an edge. So that's why I only trade one style. I trade a high probability style of trading options. And maybe as I get through all the RexDog trading system, maybe we'll add options to it if people want that. But I'm not going to also do some kind of training that I have no business talking about. So I'm not going to just throw out options. I'll share what I know. Like I said, I'm not holding anything back. I'll share what I do. I'll share what I know. But I'm not going to also train on options when I really don't think I have that level of edge where it's something that I can speak with authority. So that's kind of where we're going with that. So how to get started, once again, you can DM me on Discord. So join Discord, send me a direct message, or you can email me at the email down below. Also, my website is the same firstname.com, so you can check out the website as well. And that's all. I was hoping I'd get this video under 40 minutes, but it looks like we're a little bit longer than that. One thing I will end with is I'm excited about releasing this. I'm excited about sharing this with everybody, and I'm really excited about having you on board. So definitely get in touch, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side.